In this message, I want to highlight something that Christ did during his ministry. And if the light is better if I, no, I have better light over here, yes, okay. When Christ had his ministry, he cast out devils from people. Where people were afflicted with evil spirits, and he cast them out. And when he cast evil spirits out, the evil spirits would scream, "You are the Son of God," or "You are the Holy One of God." They would proclaim who he is. I don't say who he was, because he's the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. But when the demons were proclaiming who he was, he told them to shut up. I don't want you to promote me. Now think about this. The demons were giving him his credit. The demons were seeing who he was. So you would think that God would be happy that his core enemies acknowledge him. Look at the bigger picture. Why were the demons promoting him when he was casting them out? Just think about it for a moment. If you have a rebel movement, if you have revolutionaries that commit a coup d'etat, they wanted to overthrow the government, and now the national forces drive them out. And when they're being driven out, they suddenly proclaim the president, that they love the president, and they suddenly become patriotic towards the president whom they want to overthrow. Does that add up? If you have a kingdom, let's say you have Spain, and you have Republicans in Spain, they want to overthrow the Spanish king, they want to turn it into a republic. And they almost succeeded, but the royal forces captured them and arrested them. And suddenly, while being arrested, they are saying, "Long live the king," or vive el rey, or what in Spanish. They began to proclaim the king, and they began to wave the royal flag. People would see that on television. They would think, what? Hold on a minute. I thought these guys were Republicans who were against the kingdom. But they are arrested, and now they're proclaiming the kingdom? This is going to cause confusion. Then some people may think, is the government abusing their own loyal supporters? Because those people are proclaiming the king. Look at them. So besides that, it will cause confusion for the core enemies of God to proclaim him. There's another reason why Christ shut the mouths of those devils. That's what he did. Because Christ wanted to teach us that we should be alert concerning who supports us. Now, you can have common people out there that support you because they see you have a good influence. There's nothing wrong with that. No matter if they are completely dysfunctional, in sins and all of that, if they see you have a good influence and they support that, there's nothing wrong with it. But you need to look at the bigger picture. It goes like this. Human beings have the need to be praised. You have the need to be wanted and to be praised. You have it. That's your need for significance. If you can choose between an environment where you are ignored or continuously criticized in a negative way, you're never built up, you're never cherished. If you could choose between an environment like that and an environment where you're praised, supported, promoted, and held up high, you would choose that other environment. Why? Because that environment, the second one, is healthy. The first one is depressive. Human beings, you can see this in little babies already, they have the need to be acknowledged and the need to be praised. So the need to be supported is a need every human being has. The one that claims they don't have it, they're lying. We all have it. God wants to be our number one supporter. Okay, and he wants us to turn to him for every support, for every area of our lives. That's what he wants. Now, unclean spirits who are envious, jealous creeps, because that's what they are, they, in their reprobate defect mind, because those unclean spirits are reprobates, they want you to turn to them instead of going to the Most High, because they want to receive reverence. They want to be gods, okay? So what happens is that those unclean spirits, they will support you if it will lead to your doom. Let me say it like this. When Christ walked the earth, okay, Christ had people against him. The scribes, Pharisees, some people from the government, even some common folks. So even his own relatives were against him. We had folks against him already. So the last thing Christ needed were people that were putting him in the spotlight for his enemies to trace him. Christ wanted to get out of the spotlight so that he could minister to those in need. He would be in the spotlight anyway when they would crucify him later on, and later he will return in all his glory. Back then, it was important for him to retreat from the public view so that he would be able to minister unhindered to those in need. He was building his kingdom, or let's say he was enforcing his kingdom in an effective manner. So when the evil spirits began to promote him, they were hindering him by putting him in the spotlight. Because remember, Christ had enemies, and those enemies were out to get him. So when the demons put him in the spotlight, it was not worship out of love. It was not honorable worship. They were targeting Christ in a covert way. That's what those reprobate entities were doing. Because by them putting Christ in the spotlight, his enemies would notice it, and his enemies could now use that to draw people against him. And what happens then is that the people that need to receive Christ's ministry would be hindered in receiving it. There was one time that Christ healed someone, but Christ told them, don't tell anyone about this. When I read that, I was thinking, Lord, what's going on there? That you healed this individual, the individual should go around and scream it all around that you healed him. Because that's the truth, you healed him. But Christ told the individual, don't tell anyone about this. Now that individual couldn't keep his mouth shut, and I can't blame him, you've been healed, miraculously. So a lot of folks heard about it and they became interested. So you would think, oh, that's good, right? They're interested because the Lord healed the individual. But check this out. When Christ was in that town, the whole crowd came pressed onto him, so he couldn't move freely in the town. He was put in the spotlight. But what effect did it have on Christ's ministry? His ministry was hindered, because now he couldn't just walk through town and reach out to people. Now the whole crowd was on him all the time. So if he wanted to reach out to someone, he would now have to face the hinder of all those people around. In another case, so this is another incident, Christ was passing through town, I believe it was in Jericho, and the crowd there was on him. They all wanted something from him. There was this blind man that began to cry out, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. What happened? Did the people tell them, oh, Jesus, hold on, stop walking. There's a man over there, he's blind, he needs you. Folks, bring him here, bring him here. Lord, hold on, here he is. Did the people do that? Did the crowd have empathy towards this man in need? No, they told them, shut up. They really want to silence him. The man had a legitimate need, and Christ was there to meet that need. But did they care about that man, about his well-being? No, they didn't care about him at all. They were all narcissistically self-focused. They all wanted to use Christ. That's what they wanted. So when that man cried out with legitimate need, they wanted him to shut up, because their narcissistic expectations were more important than that man's health and the health of the community. So Christ, when the community was pressing on him, he didn't stop for him. He kept just walking on. He was shaking off their dust from his feet. But when that man that was sincere cried out, he stopped. And he walked to that man, and the man said he wanted to be able to see, and he was able to see, and he followed Christ. Remember what I said about the incident before, when Christ healed someone and told them, don't tell anyone about this. Because Christ wanted to remain out of the spotlight, so that his purpose would not be hindered by people that were available to the enemy. Because the crowd that kept pressing on Christ, they didn't look at the bigger picture. They weren't alert. They didn't concern themselves with Christ's ministry. So the enemy was using the crowds to hinder Christ. And that's what you need to think of when demons promote you. Demons will promote you to trap you. Demons know that you have this need to be cherished, this need to be promoted, this need to be praised. You have it. This need for significance is natural. You have it in you. Every human being has it. And demons know that if they overwhelm this need of yours, you'll be blinded, or your perception will be blurred, so you won't notice what's going on. And that is what happens to the celebrities. No, I'm not talking about the Hollywood celebrities that much, but more about local celebrities. You also have just common people that turn into local celebrities, or they become celebrities in subcultures. What happens is that demons use this need of yours to be acknowledged, and the demons push people to acknowledge you, and this happens over and over again. And because of this, your confidence is built, but that confidence is not based in Christ, it's based on other people. So now, without you being aware of it, you are becoming dependent on the praise of other people. You don't experience that yourself, but in practice, that's what's going on. So when the demons are pushing people to acknowledge you, you're motivated, you begin to do better because you don't want to discredit yourself. Now you're in the spotlight, so you realize I need to be responsible with it. That's all fine. But look at this. There are other people who also have this need for significance who are ignored. And because the attention goes to you, less people notice them. So those people that feel left out or ignored, they'll become upset, and they will project this pain onto you, who's receiving the acknowledgement of the people around them. So now they will blame you for how they feel. They will blame you for being ignored by other people. They will even blame you for the traumas that their parents and other people caused them. Okay? It's irrational, but you have a lot of folks like that. Instead of facing things and looking for healing and going through the healing process, it's better to just blame someone else and dump it on them and take it out on them. So when the demons are promoting you, yes, you will have legitimate supporters, even people that will come with legitimate constructive criticism, but because the focus is on you, those that are upset will use that focus to relieve themselves. So they will become your stalkers. They will become your sworn enemies. And now, over a long period of time, you will have a lot of negative attention on you that will begin to harm you. So when demons promote you, it's to trap you into destruction. So you'll be made into a celebrity at your expense, and also at the expense of those around you. Because if you have children, or you have relatives around you, or people around you in your care, and you are the focus of contention, that contention is going to harm them also. So demons will promote you, they will make you a celebrity, and it will work, but it will work against you in the long run. So when the demons began to praise Christ, Christ was taken, no. You're not going to play that game with me. I know what you're doing. Remember, I'm God. I know everything. So how can you be so dumb to think you can trick me? The demons thought they could trick the Most High. For some reason, in the rebellion, they thought they could get away with it, as if the Most High wasn't aware of what was going on. But the Most High started saying, no, I don't want your praise. Just think about that. Demons will put people on your path to praise you. Why? Because you have this need for significance that every human being has. But with that praise from the paranormal comes contention, comes vengeance from people that feel left out, even though you didn't leave them out. Others neglected them, or they have wrong expectations themselves, but instead of facing stuff and look for help, they now want to dump on someone, and now demons offer them someone to dump on you. So listen, man, there are times you're overlooked by other people, and it's the Holy Spirit doing it. Because the Holy Spirit knows what would come along with their acknowledgement. Too often we want to be acknowledged by other people. And as a human being, you're a being with a need for significance. It's understandable that you want to be acknowledged. But in this world that's fallen, the acknowledgement from other people can mean your doom. But when that need of yours is taken care of by demons, You're often not aware of it because demons will make sure that you are at ease, you're comfortable with the praise and acknowledgement of others. And here's another thing, a lot of folks are not into becoming famous nor becoming a public figure, just want to be left alone. They want to be respected, that means validated. And demons will teach you self-defense, self-respect. Demons will teach all kinds of violent methods to use on other people to validate you or acknowledge you. So it can be that you're someone, you're very direct. When you're upset, you just say it. Or when you can't stand something or someone, you just open about it. Why? Because you want to be validated as someone that's true, as someone that is honest. But hold on. If they acknowledge you like that, you're built in pride. You think now you have the right to treat others badly. You think you have the right to dump your negative will. You think you have a right to think and feel whatever you want. And then one day, there's going to be someone that will not take your dumping, and now you're in danger. All the other times you were violent, you could get away with it. Because people thought, well, it's your opinion, you're just being direct, you're just keeping it real. But there comes a point when you meet someone that thinks, hold on a minute, it's just foul. It's just you think however you want to think and I just have to take it. And in the world, they often repay evil with evil, so now you're in trouble. Or if someone is a pagan, they may do black magic on you or witchcraft just to hinder you. Right? Because they are looking after themselves. And they realize you're someone who just dumps your will, so now they're taking action against you. And you can't blame them. Or it can be that you're keeping it real and you open your mouth, or you're very clear with your body language that you don't want something or someone, and later that individual or the group of people you were against end up being the ones you need because they're the ones that you thought they weren't that important. They weren't that important to you, so you thought you could just treat them the way you think about them. And now you are humiliated. Now you have all kinds of other stuff coming after you. So when demons promote you, you're finished. So when Christ refused the praise of those devils, he did the right thing. Too often, believers don't notice it when demons are praising them. That's why you have ministries that start good, but they end up bad. Doesn't mean that the ministry was fake to be from the start. No, it was a real ministry. But because they didn't notice the snakes that entered in, the snakes could poison that ministry unaware. You get what I'm saying here? That's why you have ministries and churches, or yeah, you may have businesses out there, or movements, whether it's political movements or social movements or financial movements that start good. They are effective, but in the long run they become corrupt, and predators begin to use that movement to devour people. Why? Because when demons come in, they often praise you. They're often very polite. They're often very respectful. That's how they gain your confidence. That's how you lower your guard down. And then later, the diabolical nature is manifested once they have a bigger hold on you. So don't give the enemy a foothold. It's natural for you to want to be significant, but let Christ take care of that need he placed inside of you. The moment you allow the world to take care of that need, you're finished. For real. Well, that's it for now. Keep agreeing with Christ and be at peace.